Alright, ML Spanky here. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe. All of that really helps at the end of the day. Makes it a lot easier for people to find me. It makes it more likely that other people will see this video. Um, at the end of the day, surprisingly, this was a question from a drug addict. Not gonna name any names. There's nothing wrong with being a drug addict. You should be proud of yourself. You know, sounds like you've had a little bit of clean time. But don't jump the gun too much. Okay, I'm just gonna say that first. That wasn't part of my notes. That wasn't part of how I was processing this. And when it comes down how to get women, and I feel like advice in general is gonna go with this. So I think that it can go for either sex. I'm just gonna go with life advice. I think is a much better way to describe it. So I'm all Spanky here. Please, if any of it, like, share, subscribe, follow my socials. It all would mean a lot. If you make it to the end of the video, I might say the same thing, or I might say something, I don't know. Either way, let's dive right into this, because that's what it's all about. You didn't come to hear me ramble. So, the first thing is, and this is very important, and I had to learn this the hard way myself, is stop going everywhere looking for that special someone. Like, whether you're going out to a restaurant, bowling with your friends, or if you're going out to a party, which if you're focusing on your sobriety, you probably shouldn't. But let's say you're someone who doesn't really like drinking and you're going to, you know, just basically get there to try and get laid or whatever. Either way, it's not going to work out the way you pictured it. If you're really looking for that special someone, now if you're asking me how to rail someone, like, that's different. You know what I mean? It's totally different than the question that was asked and the way you asked it. If you were meaning otherwise, you definitely should have worded it much differently. So that's the first thing. Is basically what it comes down to is you got to stop searching. All right, because for one, I'm not saying other people can't fix you, because I'm not gonna lie, when I was with Marissa, it was the happiest time of my life. I was fully in love. She was fully in love, but we were still both broken, and me less than her because I had years of counseling, but she definitely had some pain that really, really did affect our relationship, and not in a oh my god, our relationship is ruined kind of way, but she just carried this pain with her around that did make it hard. Some days she just wanted to lay in bed and cry, and I would do my best to comfort her, but she was someone who was always stabbed in the back, not just really got treated like shit 95% of her life, and because of that, it was very hard for her to open it up, and I'm sure that's the way for some of you people, maybe even the person asking you this question. Opening up has always been hard for me too. There's only been one person who really knew who I was, and sadly she's no longer here. But how I find her wasn't some magic secret. She, if anything, she found me. Like, we did meet on Tinder, but it was like the most random thing, and I'd have to go into the story explaining it, and like it wasn't just swiping right and just like finding, like, it was pretty random how we met, and I would have to tell you my side and then her side for it to like make sense. But trust me, more than likely you're not gonna find someone worth anything on a dating app, let alone on Tinder. Like, we lucked the fuck out. All right, it usually doesn't happen, and I definitely wasn't searching at that time. That's a key thing here too. Is basically my side is I would go on Tinder, I'd swipe right on all these women way out of my league, just and then I close the app. That's what I do. I'd swipe right until it says you can't anymore because I didn't have the paid version. Then I close the app. Well, shortly after I swiped right on her, she swiped right on me. You'd have to understand her reasonings, though. Otherwise, she may have never even swiped right on me in the first place. But something happened to her that night, and she wanted compliments. It worked. It worked to my advantage. We'll shorten that up. Okay. So you just gotta stop searching, because you're only gonna find the wrong girl. You're not gonna find, if you're looking for the girl you want to bring home to your mom. Stop it. Just do you. Be you. Find out who you are. Work on yourself. That's the only way you're ever gonna get that type of benefit. And then now we're gonna get into more of the general life advice, and some of these are specific manly tips. Other of these are more important. But when it comes down to it, follow your moral compass. Okay, you should have some type of moral compass, and if not, you need to develop one. And I'm sure during the depths of addiction, you may have lost it, but find that back. And if you are in the depths of addiction, man, when you come out of it, that moral compass that you had before will come back, and it will eat at your conscience. You have a lot of actions that you did, whether it be lying, cheating, stealing, whatever you did, it's going to eat at you alive. And that's why it's important to have a moral code and be who you are and do what you want to do, but not at the expense of others. You know what I mean? We are all humans here. We're all trying to find our own way. We were all trying to succeed, and we were all trying to be who we're meant to be. All right. And taking down other humans is not the answer. I'm just saying that right now. So you got to find a code and you got to live by it. I wouldn't really say a code. Like I said, your own moral compass, because we're all different. To some people, stealing from Walmart might not be that big of a deal, but if you were to steal from a mom and pop shop, that's not cool at all. To others, stealing is just wrong in general. Whereas to some people, maybe you can steal from any store, but if you steal from a person, it's really bad. That's why. So your moral compass can really, really vary, but you gotta have something because something's to define you. You know what I mean? That's really what it's about. Like I said, building yourself up. That's what we're gonna be doing here. This definitely is gonna be a men pertaining one. Quit brag. I mean, maybe females do it too. I'm sure they do. At least be like, oh, yeah, to an extent. But don't brag about who you sleep with. All right, and it's just not cool. It just don't make you sound good. Just don't talk about it. If you wanna, if you all got girlfriends and you guys are like, oh, dude, my girl just, I mean, I guess maybe, but at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about your sex life, and no one cares. Like no one, it's not cool. It's not cool to brag, and that's an intimate moment you shared between that person, especially if it's a random hookup. Like you dogging her, calling her slut, and all the things like with your boys, or girl. It's not cool. I don't really think girls do it as much, so I don't really think that pertains to them. So we're gonna get right past this subject. Just quit bragging about whether or not you had sex. It doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares, bro. And if females do it, no one gives a fuck either. Okay. Don't let your fear stop you from what you know is right unless it is life or death. And even still, if someone's life is in danger, it'll be hard to live with yourself if you run away. That's a fact. I mean, I've had to deal with fear, and I guess really comes what makes or breaks a man man is whether you conquer it. And this can go with females too. It doesn't have to be a drastic situation. It could be something as simple as social anxiety. So when it comes down to it, you really have to conquer that. All of these steps are involved because they all develop who you are as a person, okay? If you're wondering how this gets you girls or how this gets you, you know, relationship advice, it's because you got to develop yourself before you'll find anything worth a damn. Okay, if you're just a piece of shit, you're gonna attract pieces of shit. And to an extent, I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to the dating scene, when you are a guy, don't you can't just be a super nice guy, because that's a red flag too. I mean, why do you think every girl wants a guy who's an asshole, but only down for them? And every guy wants a girl who's a bitch, but only down for them. It's just the way of the world, man. When you meet someone who is too nice, it sets off red flags. And there's studies on this to prove this. Okay, it really does. It's like, I wonder what that person's gonna be like when they explode. That's why it's much more normal, when you see someone get angry about shit, when you see someone express their emotions, when you get pissed off and you fucking let that person know. Why? Because it's the much more normal thing to do, to sit back and smile and take it. I'll give you a perfect example. Chris Watts. Ask anyone about the dude. He was a great fucking guy. Calm and collective. Never ledged out. What did he do? Blew up one day, killed his whole family. Like, those, not saying every person who's quiet does that, but when you are never combative, when you never stand up for yourself, when you never show that you are who you are and you just let everyone push, 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 there is a breaking point. And sure, it may not be killing, but it's probably screaming in your face. Maybe it's pinning you against the wall. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I don't know what anyone's breaking point looks like, so I can't really tell you how it's going to be. But that is why no one wants a nice guy and no one wants a nice girl. So it's always a game. It's always a game, especially in the beginning, you know. Don't text her back right away. Make her wait a few hours and vice versa, you know. Like, I mean, I really think with guys it don't matter because I think for the most part, guys want to, you know, whether it's a relationship or they just want to cluck, you know what I'm saying? It's it don't matter. They're going to be who they are. But like with females, if you want to catch their eye, you got to ignore them at the end of the day. If she texts you right away, you text her a couple hours later. That's rule number one, basically. I mean, you gotta play hard to get. You know, you can't if you show too much interest, they lose it. Now there are exceptions. I'm not gonna lie, and maybe every girl that you're meant to be with will be an exception, but I don't think it works like that. I just think Marissa was a one of a kind opportunity. You know, I told her in the beginning, you know, I hate not being able to text you when I want to, and she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, you know full well if I acted like this super nice dude and was just like my genuine self, you know, and because she at this point she did already know I was a little hot headed though, so I guess maybe, you know, there is an exception there, but you know, and she's like, I don't play, you know, basically saying I don't deal with that shit. I ain't about that. And I said bullshit and then continued on it for a little bit, but it didn't take long for me to realize that she was different. Now, if you meet someone like that, hop on the train and ride it because you don't want to lose that girl. For the most part, that's you're gonna have to play the game, like it or not. It's the way of the world, bro. And females, I don't know what game y'all play, but I think their game is I got 17 other dudes to choose from, so you gotta outstand from all these other choices. Because they do. Let me tell you, if they're a pretty girl, I've seen my girl's DM box. It is insane, okay? She had over 300 unread messages, and I'm sure she read some of them. So, like, I remember even sometimes we would scroll through together and laugh at some of the shit that these motherfuckers would say. This one dude was talking in her inbox for like 5 years. Dude had like 50 plus sent messages. Never read one until like we were scrolling through together, and then it was read, and then she got blown up for like a week over it. It was just because we read the motherfuckers, not even because we replied. Shit's crazy. People are fucked up, and that like women have options, whether they're all right, whether they're average, even below average. You know why? And that's another problem with this online dating thing. That's gonna put you at a hindrance too if you're not photogenic or if you're not super hot, because all these fours can get these eights to sleep with them. Here's the reality of the situation: men date down. They don't give a fuck, yo. If you're gonna put it up, if you're gonna lay it out, they're gonna rail you out. Okay? Women, they date up, bro. They date up. So if they're 5, they're looking for that 9 or 8. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're 5, they're looking for that 9 or 8 or 10. That's just the way of the world now. Why? Because someone is going to do it, you know, whether it's for the right or wrong reasons and these women are just embracing it. It's the truth too. And if anyone's insulted by this, you're lying if you don't say otherwise. When's the last time you dated someone who was below your class? My ass. All right, that's all I gotta say. I ain't trying to offend anybody. It's really there's nothing wrong with it. Date whoever you want to date. But when it comes down to it, that's why if you notice, girls that sometimes you be hitting on and talking to, and you're like, you think to yourself like, damn, she's like not even that hot. Like she's talking to me like she's a supermodel. You know what I'm saying? Like I have no right to walk up to her and try and have a conversation, which I personally had happen, and I don't really think I'm that ugly, but maybe I am. I don't know. I just, she just. Like I said, males typically, and this is proven. You can look up the study if you want. Males date down and females date up. It's just the way of the world. So when it comes down to that, you also have to remember is be kind, but you don't know anyone in this life anything, okay? So still keep your kindness, still keep who you are as a person, but if you go over there and you fix her car and you do this and that, this and the third, you're gonna quickly be in that friend zone faster than you should. You pretty soon you're gonna be shaking her hands, besties. She's gonna be telling you about all the dick she's fucking taking, you know, and that's just the way of life, man. Because the guy who she wants isn't gonna come over and fix the car, isn't gonna be doing all these things for some reason. It's human nature, women. Please do not take this as a single attack. We want what we can't have. It's no different than dudes. Dudes do have options, but typically they are not what they want. Like someone like me, I could get with a lot of chicks that I wouldn't want to be with if I really wanted to right now. If I had no standards, I could probably get laid every night for the next month easily. But I have standards, and yeah, they're probably a little too high, so it makes it a little hard for me. And right now, I'm not looking for any of that shit. Like I said, and that was the key thing too. When I found Marissa, I wasn't looking for any of that shit. But either way, you you gotta you gotta be kind, but don't take it too far to where it is a weakness. Okay, because they will take advantage of that, and I promise you they will. They won't even think twice about it. And once they establish you as weak, they don't want that. All right, because at the end of the day, everyone still wants an alpha male. They all want to pretend they don't, but come on, let's be honest. I mean, at least to the extent of they want to know that if shit goes down, they're gonna be protected. I mean, I remember the first time fucking I had to do what I had to do and protect Marissa. Up until that point, she didn't think I would because of my size. But I mean, like I told you before, I went to, for assault with a deadly weapon. So, I mean, like I said, I've been in some shit. So I know how to handle myself. Size doesn't matter much if you know how to handle yourself because if the other dude knew what he was doing, I'd have been fucked. But if he doesn't, you can end it before it even starts. Hit first, ask questions later. End of story. That wasn't really part of the advice, but I got a little off topic there. And stop comparing your life to other people. Okay, you see all these motherfucking relationships on Facebook, all these cute couples doing all this bullshit. It's all for show, man. I'm not saying sometimes there aren't genuine things, but I mean, I kind of boasted about Marissa on Facebook, but that was the only girl I ever did that with. Like a lot, a lot. You know what I mean? Like I she'd make a fire ass dinner, but I mean, this girl was a 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. So of course I wanted to show pictures of how beautiful it was. Of course I wanted to show pictures of all this food she was making for me, because I was looking at it and I'm like, damn, did I go to a 5-star restaurant or she just whip up some dinner? You know what I'm saying? And like, I mean, because she knew how to cook. Whether she learned it from her mom. I mean, she was in the restaurant industry for 10 years. I'm sure she dated a few chefs. I'm sure she learned her trade. I mean, it's not like this girl was young when we met. She was 28. All right, she had some life experience like me. We were the same age at the time, because it was before she turned 29. Um, ex- Actually, it was she was 29. We technically were talking when she was 28, but we actually met when she turned 29. Way off subject. Almost started crying. Let's get back to it. Um, and at the end of the day, open your mind, right? With this closed circle idea, having this you gotta check all this checklist bullshit. All right, life ain't about that. Okay, love will always have compromise to some extent, but keep that in mind to some extent. Don't just fucking automatically settle for the fucking ugliest or most disrespectful or mean or nasty person you can find just because you can find them. Like, just keep your mind open more. I always thought there was this type of girl that I was looking for, and then I met a girl that made me realize everything I needed was nowhere near anything I wanted. Very simple tip, but I think it's very crucial. And in the long run, this will get you a lot more respect, you know, because you won't be out there, You won't be known as a player. You won't be known as this, you know. So yeah, you know, people's perception of you can very easily impact whether or not you succeed in the dating life. You know, if you railed everyone in your hometown, word gets out about that. You know what I'm saying? And if you're having trouble, word, you know, people may look at you as a creep or whatever. But you gotta represent yourself, man. This is where it all comes down to. Everything comes from within. Okay, you gotta believe what you're worth. You gotta know your worth. All right. If I didn't, even though I thought Marissa was way out of my league, you think I didn't take that shot? Nah. The first thing I said is, "Oh my God, those eyes," you know, or something like that. It was better than that because, oh my God, those eyes is not a good line. I'd have to go back to my messages to be able to tell you an honest one, but it was something. I think I just said straight up, pretty blue eyes with two fire symbols. You know what I mean? Because they blew me away. Actually, pretty blue eyes, two fire symbols, and then the puff of smoke. Cause I was like, hot damn. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But I'm not saying it's gonna work on everyone. It caught her attention, and after that, it was a wrap. But when it came down to it, I wasn't looking for it. It just she kind of just fell into my lap, and that's really what it comes down to. But what was I doing that whole 5 years? I was single. I was working on me. I was trying to make me a better person. I was trying to figure out my own path, shape my own ways. This video's been 21 minutes, so I hit the major points. Y'all know what it is. Follow my socials, like, subscribe, and share if you made it to the end. I love each and every one of you. Like I said, keep sending in those question, viewer questions, and we will dive right into them. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. Even if I only appeal to one person, like I said, I'm here for you guys. Everyone thinks that this is my quick rich get scheme, but I mean, I have 60 fucking subscribers. Like, I haven't made a dime, and I probably won't make a dime for if I ever even do make a dime. I'd be lucky to make a dime. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully, some of this resonates with you. Hopefully, some of it makes sense. And yep, that's it. I love you all. Thanks for checking me out. Follow my socials. They're always in the descriptions. ML Spanky signing out. Peace. Apparently, I did not